Another week, boys, and another TWAB. Actually, the final TWAB before Season of Dawn begins. First up, Cosmo opens up with this week at Bungie, we revealed Season of Dawn. There's been a lot to learn. Did you miss any of it? On Tuesday, we released a new trailer to showcase the new story set into motion by your victories over the Vex. Time is broken on Mercury, and it's up to you to use the sundial to prevent the Cabal from rewriting history. Along the way, you'll have a chance to rescue an old friend. By the way, guys, I've never actually stopped and rated every one of the Bungie trailers, but the one they released this past week with Saint 14 is absolutely amazing. Shout out to the hype department at Bungie, man. Now, this is of course the roadmap. I'm mainly showing it again just to showcase, number one, nothing has changed about the roadmap because Bungie every now and then will update some things. But so far from yesterday, nothing looks different. There is one thing we did miss yesterday, though, in the roadmap, is that the Dawning showed Sparrows. I can't believe I missed that, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have SRL returning in some way, which for my new Light players and new Destiny players, it's Sparrow Racing. If there's some way they can incorporate turtle shells and other Mario Kart-like stuff, oh my god, that can be like a standalone game. No lie, Sparrow Racing is a lot of fun. Now, moving on, we have a few posts that was actually shown to us on Destiny 2's Twitter. First up is Way of the Sharpshooter and its new subclass buffs. Notice right here, he backs up, he throws the trip mine grenade, and he throws the knife. Now, the knife has proximity charge. The guy rushes in and he dies. Now, I'm pretty sure the grenade itself does 160 damage, but notice that the knife does 105 damage. Depending on the proximity of the knife, you may actually be able to set up some pretty lethal combinations inside of Crucible. And again, you can rock things like Gambler's Dodge, throw a trip mine out, and simultaneously a knife dodge and throw another knife out. Maybe if you want to double up with knives. Either way it goes, it definitely opens up some playmaking potential. Then we see the Gunslinger in action right here. Now the quality is pretty terrible, but notice what we saw yesterday as well. You see the knock 'em down perk, as well as practice makes perfect, and then you see the golden gun damage. Now, what's significant about this is that the knock 'em down perk here will actually increase the super damage that you do in your golden gun. This is, of course, if you have the buff at 20 seconds or more. And remember, this does not stack with Celestial Nighthawk. Now, if you notice when he popped it, the knock 'em down perk got rid of the timer. It just showcased itself as a continuous buff while you're in your super. That buff, in combination with something like Line 'em Up, which actually increases your golden gun precision damage with each precision hit with golden gun, really makes us wonder, is it possible for the damage here to surpass that of Celestial, or at least get it close enough, right? Get it close enough where you can actually use other exotics on the Hunter class inside of PvE without feeling like you're being a detriment to your team by not using Celestial. Either way, nasty synergy right here, guys. Now, last but not least, we also got to see the Hunter here throw his knife inside of PvP. A lot of us were questioning what that charge melee time was going to be. This looks pretty fast, man. I mean, it's not instant, but for a one-hit melee, I think it's pretty good. You're gonna have to just get your timing right, but you will always have a one-hit KO. I mean, what is that, 212 damage? Holy hell. It also doesn't appear to have any type of damage fall off. There's gonna be some crazy cross-mapping potential here with our throwing knives. I'm not one for throwing knives. I suck with them, but for my Hunter mains, let me know what you think about this. Does this delay appear to be too much of a delay? Would you rather the one-hit kill potential of a throwing knife with a small delay on the throw, or what we have now, I guess is what the real question is. I mean, regardless, it's going to be in place next week anyways, but I am interested in what our Hunter mains think here. Now, we'll also continue to see some changes for our Warlocks as well as our Titans in the days to come. So all these subclass changes, I know today is just Hunter right now. We'll be seeing more and more of this, and as more stuff gets leaked, guys, we'll be covering it here on the channel and breaking things down. Now, moving on. Bungie state, here comes the bullets. Here's a preview of some of the changes arriving with Season of Dawn. We previously discussed some upcoming subclass changes to solar subclasses here, but we have a few extra tuning notes below. We also have some notes on exotic Engram changes, powerful reward caps, bounties, crucible maps, and more. So first up, rewards. They're increasing the drop rate of the Scourge of the Past raid exotic Anarchy from 5% to 10%. Honestly, that thing was way too rare. It took way too long for me to get that thing. Raid exotics in general are just so dang rare, man. We're talking about like a good year after the raid has already been out, and I'm at the point right now where I'm still needing Terraba. And do you know how hard it is to find a raid team to go back and do old raids? It's difficult. Now, moving on, the exotic Engram and faded Engram have now been collapsed into a single new exotic Engram item. Holy hell. When open, it awards a new exotic if any remains to be collected. Otherwise, it contains a random piece of exotic armor. Fellas, wow. I know that seems like a very small thing. It may even seem like an obvious thing to do to exotic Engrams. This has been something we've been asking now for almost 3 years. Essentially, Faded Engrams, which is what's brought to us every week by Xur, allows you to discover those exotics you have yet to discover. It's got something inside of them that blows RNG away and allows us to not lose our mind. Now that's going to be combined with regular exotic Engrams. That's good. But at this point, I already got every exotic, so I guess except Teraba. Damn it! Now the powerful and pinnacle reward caps have now been increased as well. So the power cap will now be 960 instead of 950, and the pinnacle cap will now be 970 instead of 960. So we're essentially just getting a 10 level increase this season, and that's pretty interesting. So everyone that has already reached the pinnacle cap now has like somewhat of a head start. Is that the way it's supposed to work? I'm pretty sure I haven't even met the cap. What am I? Right now, Destiny Item Manager says I'm 971. Is that high? I don't even know, guys. I play the game, I promise, but I haven't even kept up with power levels, dude. Now moving on. Escalation Protocol. Oh baby. Escalation Protocol Wave 7 chest no longer requires a key to open. Chests can now be opened upon every successful completion of Wave 7. Each time opening the chest awards 1 piece of EP armor for your character class until you have a full set. After a full set is acquired, subsequent opening of the chest awards a random piece of armor. Now the charged decryption keys as well as the key fragments are being removed from the game. These items will be removed from player inventories. Also, armory keys to spawn Valkyrie javelins are unchanged and will remain, and EP weapon drops were not touched and are still cumulative stream boss drops. Alright, I was actually hoping to see something like, I don't know, EP weapons brought to year 2 with random rolls, but Escalation Protocol is something that I should have tested out already. What are the chances of you getting max stat armor from EP? Is it higher than other activities, or is it about like the same as like raid activities? I'm curious. I really am, because right now I've got some pretty good stat rolled armor pieces, but it can always be better. And if this is actually a way to obtain max armor sets, then we're about to spend Christmas at EP. Moving on though, weapon mods. The cost of slotting a weapon mod has been reduced from 5,000 Glimmer to 500. They also fixed an issue where Ada can grant duplicate weapon mods. Alrighty, for those of us that went Glimmer broke, I went Glimmer broke for like 1 week, and then I found Spider. Now moving on, we also have bounties. Repeatable bounties have been added to the Gunsmith. They also merged Strike, Crucible, and Gambit objectives on the Gunsmith weekly bounty field calibration into a single objective that shares progress from all sources. They remove Valor and Infamy and Vanguard tokens from field calibration, as there is no longer a requirement for any of these linked activities. They added a new mode specific daily Crucible bounties, 1 per day, selected from full-time playlists and active rotators. They reduced the completion requirements of several daily and repeatable Crucible bounties, and they removed grenade and melee bounties from the Crucible bounty repeatable pool. Needless to say, guys, maxing out our season pass, I'm assuming might be a little easier, unless of course they chop the XP. Now moving on, we also have some subclass changes here. First up, Striker Code of the Missile is finally getting a buff. Thunder Crash is getting an increase in base damage from 2700 to 3200, increase in flight damage from 100 to 200, and they also slightly increase the amount of time you have in the air after activation. I don't know. I guess that's okay, right? It needed a PvE buff. For PvP, I can't tell you how many poor Thunder Crashes I shut down. They'll be coming toward me, hurling their arc bodies at me, and I can literally shotgun them out of the sky. It's pretty sad, actually. Now, moving on, we also have Night Stalker Way of the Pathfinder. This is bottom path. Vanish in Smoke. They added a short period, approximately 0.8 seconds, after the invisibility is applied, where firing weapons or performing other actions will not break invisibility. This should help prevent allies from accidentally breaking invisibility the moment it's granted them if unexpected. There we go, boys. Now everyone can be invisible, even if you accidentally shoot your shotgun off. Like if someone throws a smoke at you and you shoot your Mindbender off into an enemy, within that 0.8 seconds, you'll still be invisible. Yay! Voidwalker 2-minute Fission, middle path. Handheld Supernova. They adjusted grenade charge time so it lines up with the animations and FX. This should make it feel more consistent to activate. Handheld Supernovas need a lot of help, guys. I mean, every time I see a Warlock inside of comp with Handheld Supernova, I think to myself, how can I make your life easier? Should I stand 3 meters away or 15 meters away? I mean, it really doesn't matter. You're still gonna kill me, but would it make it easier if I stood closer? Now the animation and the visuals should also make it easier for you to see me die. All right, moving on. Crucible maps added Rusted Lands to the appropriate playlist. They also added Dead Cliffs, Legion's Gulch, Retribution, and Solitude to the appropriate playlist. Dead Cliffs is back, baby! They also removed Emperor's Response Despite Equinox, Firebase Echo, and Vostok from all Crucible playlists, these maps are still available for play in private matches though. Ooh, okay then. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely despise Firebase Echo. I adored Firebase Delphi, and if they ever want to bring that back, hey, but Firebase Echo, that place can go to hell. Now moving on, get your wallets out, boys, because we're now talking about Eververse. Bungie states right here, the past couple seasons of Destiny have brought a lot of changes to the Eververse as we look to how we support Destiny on our own as an evolving world. Today, we like to talk about some of what we've heard from you about Season of Undying and outline how your feedback is going to impact Season of the Dawn. So first up, silver-only content. Offering some amount of Eververse content for silver only is part of ensuring we are able to fund our ability to keep creating and maintaining Destiny and supporting the team that makes Destiny. That said, we agree with you that we would like to see a higher ratio of items that will also be available for Bright Dust. By the end of the Season of the Undying, around 50% of Eververse content will have been offered for Bright Dust. In Season of Dawn, we're going to make around 80% of Eververse content available for Bright Dust at some point during the season. We've also heard you say that you want to know what will be offered for silver only so you can plan what you're interested in buying. We agree that providing transparency is vital to making an informed decision. We plan to share on social every week what items will be for silver only during the season as they appear on the Eververse store. Now moving on to the Bright Dust economy. In Season of the Undying, we changed Bright Dust from a pay or play to earn currency to a play to earn reward. We want all players to be able to acquire a selection of their favorite Eververse content every season just by playing the game. And we'll be keeping an eye on the Bright Dust economy in Season of the Undying with this in mind. In Season of Dawn, all dawning, weekly, and repeatable bounties will award Bright Dust in quantities equal to the amount awarded from Strike, Crucible, and Gambit bounties, 200 per week and 10 per repeatable. Crimson Days will do the same for weekly bounties only, as this event does not include repeatable bounties. Alright, so the main thing to take away from that one, guys, yes, we did say this past season that more of the Eververse items, specifically the hot items, should be available to us in some way, whether that's earned via in-game or acquired with Bright Dust. I do like the fact that we can actually get more Bright Dust than just the regular weekly bounties throughout Season of the Dawn as well as Crimson Days. Now, having 80% of the stuff available is pretty nice, but it just depends, man. Like, it depends on what that 80% is. But I completely understand that Eververse is an important factor for Bungie and Destiny 2. Like, if you want to know what keeps the live team alive, what keeps these seasonal updates going, it's actually Eververse, guys. So we can actually see more seasonal content like we do, or we can run into a situation like we used to have back in Destiny 1, where we would actually have to wait an entire year before we got a refresh of content. So I understand why Eververse is there. I actually really don't have a problem with it as long as they offer majority of the items in some other form with Bright Dust. Now moving on, seasons fleeting. Currently we're in the final week for Season of the Undying in Destiny 2. All players should be aware that after this season comes to an end, some activities and loot sources will become unavailable. Here's some notable callouts. First up, Undying's free and premium season rewards, including the acquisition for Ariana's Vow. This is going away, guys. So I guess like the Pluperfect and the seasonal related rewards on the season pass, that will not be available. Now the Ariana Vow Catalyst quest is also going away. Vex offensive matchmade activity also going away. Vex invasions on the moon. Vex weapon data seeds from Ikora. The Gatelore Eyes seasonal artifact. Power bonuses granted from the seasonal artifact. Season specific triumphs, seals, and titles. Now Bungie stated at the bottom, please note that Ariana's Vow and its Catalyst quest will become obtainable through alternative acquisition pass in a future release. Players who have already obtained and begun this quest may complete it after the season ends. Stay tuned for the updates. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think there's going to be a season that passes before the exotic from the season pass is available in some way. So next season, there will be a quest related to Ariana's Vow, which will allow you to still earn it. But you will have to wait a season there, guys, if you have not already started the quest there for Ariana's Vow. Now, pretty much last but not least, we also have the Destiny 2 Update 2.7.0 and when it's rolling out. So 8 a.m. Pacific time is when the service maintenance will begin, and it will conclude at 11 a.m. Pacific. All right, boys, that's our TWAB, man. Those are the changes that are coming, and there's quite a few of them. No major weapon changes, no archetype changes, specifics on Recluse and how it's being nerfed, or One-Eye Mask. Like, we kind of got specifics on some of those, but like, we really don't know how much is being dialed back. Recluse especially. These things will all probably drop with the patch notes next Tuesday with update 2.7.0. So be looking out for that. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.